How often have you walked over to your fridge and stood there for a good while wondering what to have for dinner? How about some avocado on toast or garlic pasta? You looked over at your beloved pet and you think they deserve a bite out of your tasty meal too. Wrong. Avocados and garlic are incredibly harmful for your pet, so much so that they can even prove fatal. And to think all you wanted to do was give your pet a delicious snack. If you love your pet and want the best for them, you need to know what can kill them. Today, we're looking at 10 seemingly ordinary foods that can harm your pet: avocados, garlic, and much more. Let's get started. Number 10. Avocados. An avocado pit is a choking hazard. That's a fact as clear as day. Pet parents would know better than to stick an avocado pit in their dog's food bowl. But what do they have to say about the rest of the fruit? Interestingly, or rather terrifyingly enough, most pet parents aren't aware of just how harmful avocados really are for animals. Avocados contain a toxin known as persin. Persin is safe for human consumption and actually contributes to lowering cholesterol levels in the human body. For pets, however, the situation isn't that gleaming. If an animal were to consume an avocado or any part of it really, they'd find water accumulating in their lungs and thorax. As the water accumulates, the lungs' oxygen carrying and transferring capacity is undermined. This results in oxygen depletion, which is usually manifested with forceful coughing and wheezing. Some pets might even pass out due to the lack of oxygen flowing to their brains. Persin can also build up fluid in the heart's chambers, the pancreas, and around the abdomen. Be wary of avocados. They might kill your beloved pet. Number 9. Xylitol. Xylitol is a pretty common ingredient nowadays. It's an artificial sweetener typically found in sugar-free mints, baking goods, and toothpaste. Xylitol is an alcohol-based sweetener that has been deemed safe for human consumption but not for animal consumption. If your pet accidentally chews on a stick of gum containing xylitol, they face a drastic drop in their blood sugar levels. This might manifest itself as vomiting, dizziness, depression, lack of mobility, and even eventually seizures, and maybe a coma. It is absolutely crucial to keep your pet miles away from xylitol. Keep your gum secured at all times. You can't really fault a pet for being nosy and wanting to take a bite. Number 8. Caffeine. Too much caffeine has never been a good thing, not for humans and especially not for animals. However, it might be hard to avoid caffeine altogether. The component is virtually everywhere: coffee, cocoa, soft drinks, and any sort of drink really. You can't ban caffeine, but you can limit it for yourself and eliminate it for your pet. It's important to understand that dogs have a rapid metabolism rate. For context, their rapid metabolism is what has them aging faster. 1 human year is 7 dog years after all. Caffeine is known to speed up our heart rate and makes us restless. Dogs can feel the effect of caffeine at 9 milligrams per body weight, and at about 60 milligrams, they begin to have seizures. 1 standard cup of coffee has around 95 milligrams of caffeine in it. If a pet ingests too much caffeine, they can experience abnormal heart rhythm or lung failure, which ultimately can lead to death. Number 7. Grapes. Scientists are yet to uncover the toxic compound found within grapes that has taken the life of 1 pet too many. While they're on it, the best we can do is keep our pets as far away from fruit as we possibly can. In a study, it was concluded that pets began to feel symptoms of kidney failure upon consumption of a particular number of grapes. However, initial signs of kidney impairment could be seen after just a handful of grapes that were given to the animals. We might not know exactly what it is that's causing kidney failure in animals because of grapes, but we do know that even a handful of them can prove fatal for our beloved furry companions. Number 6. Alcohol. Interestingly enough, alcohol isn't completely unsafe for animals. It is unsafe, but only after a threshold limit has been crossed. This limit, unfortunately, comes by pretty quickly, which is why experts wouldn't recommend sharing a beer with your old pal. Animals can experience a hangover just like humans can. The only difference is that their hangover doesn't come the morning after. It happens right then and there. Your pet will get dizzy, disoriented, and start to vomit uncontrollably. If your pet has consumed a lot of alcohol, they might even begin to have seizures, go into a coma, and perhaps even drop dead. It's not just alcoholic beverages either. Fermentable yeast produces alcohol, which might be accidentally ingested by humans to bring about the same effect. Additionally, the dough might expand in a pet's stomach and put pressure on their organs, making it harder for them to breathe. Number 5. Chocolate. Chocolate has gained quite a bit of notoriety among the animal worlds. It's a toxin animals can't seem to shake off. Cocoa poisoning is a common and pretty serious complication of consuming chocolate. While there is a threshold before animals experience worrying symptoms, this threshold is a mere 0.03 ounces. It's better to keep chocolate away from your pet than to risk them having more than just a bite. What makes everybody's favorite dessert this toxic? Well, cocoa contains caffeine and theobromine. Both compounds cause vomiting, diarrhea, and problems in animals that can eventually manifest as seizures. If left unchecked for too long, it might even prove fatal. Number 4. Salt. Salt poisoning is a life-threatening condition seen in several domesticated animals that have consumed large quantities of salt. This results in water deprivation that can lead to kidney diseases, cerebral edema, and thoracic edema. The results? Often fatal. Experts have deduced that the threshold for salt consumption is so low that it would be better for pets to steer clear from salt altogether. Of course, you can't just sit your canine down and explain the negative effects of salt to them. They won't understand you now, would they? But what you can do is keep things containing salt, which is most human food, far from their reach. Make sure your pet doesn't enter the kitchen without your supervision. Pets tend to be nosy, and they might just stick their heads into a salt container if you're not diligent enough. Number 3. Onions and garlic. Most humans can't imagine a meal to be complete without onions or garlic. For your pet, though, the situation is quite different. Animals cannot consume onions or garlic, and most human food at that. Onions and garlic tamper with an animal's red blood cells, thereby decreasing the efficiency with which they carry oxygen. That is, their oxygen-carrying capacity. If an animal consumes too much of it, they might find themselves gasping for air. This usually manifests as dizziness, fatigue, and violent coughs, signs of anemia. If you suspect your pet has had a little too much of something they shouldn't have, get them to the vet immediately. Number 2. Apples. Scientists have uncovered something sinister about apples. An apple a day won't keep the doctor away. In fact, it might just send you directly to the emergency room. Imagine the harmful side effects it would have on your pet. Apples, when eaten in moderation, are actually healthy for humans. However, no amount of the fruit is good for your pet. They contain a compound known as cyanide. Yes, you heard that right. Apples also contain a fair bit of caffeine. With both cyanide and caffeine, animals experience symptoms of toxic shock upon consumption, that is, vomiting, dizziness, and seizures. Number 1. Macadamia nuts. Macadamia nuts are harmful for your pets in more ways than one. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to specify which compound causes these complications. Safe to say, it might be best to keep your pets away from them. The nuts also contain a high amount of fat that can lead to an inflamed liver and several gastric issues. An animal that has one macadamia nut too many would begin to lose muscle coordination, get dizzy, and faint. If the animal has had too many of them, they might even begin to have seizures and go into a coma. Alright, which ordinary foodstuffs can you think of that might be safe for humans but are toxic for pets? Let us know in the comments. Also, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Inforama, and we'll catch you on the next one.